You're listening to the Smoke Meat Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Pittman. Smoke Meat is brought to you today by Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar building. It's a great place to go. Jeremy and the gang make you feel like family every time you go. So make sure you go and have a great time. Remember, I goes to Joe's and so should you. That's Joe's Underground at the corner of 8th and Broad in Augusta, Georgia, in the bottom of the Lamar building. Also sponsoring our show is the 4 Points Trading Company. They make some of the greatest soy candles that I have ever seen, because I'm not a candle guy, but the first time I saw these candles and smelled them, I was hooked. Right now, I'm actually down here in the studio, and it smells like a sporting goods store because I'm burning leather, which smells just like a new baseball glove. It's great. So check them out. That's 4 Points Trading Company at 4pointstradingco.com. You can put in the promo code Smoked Meat and you'll get 10% off. That way they know I sent you. And we've also got another sponsor now for the Smoked Meat Podcast. It's WW Restaurant Equipment in Thompson, Georgia. Call Blake. Great guy. I've known Blake for 40 years. One of my best friends. Man, he's got so much great stuff there. If you're a hunter, he's got everything you need to process your game. You don't need to pay nobody to do that. Get your own stuff. Have fun. Do what you want to with it. He's got cubers. He's got grinders. You name it, he's got it. And he can get it to you a pretty good price, too. Thanksgiving's coming up. He has got so many different turkey fryers and pots and baskets, and you name it. And if you can't cook a turkey from this joint, you don't need to be cooking a turkey. You can get ice machines. You can get everything from small wares all the way up to a whole restaurant. I mean, Blake covers it all. And he's just a downright good guy. That's going to be WW Restaurant Equipment at the corner of Gordon Highway and Moose Club Road at 1894 Moose Club Road in Thompson, Georgia. Give him a call at 706-595-9511. That's WW Restaurant Equipment in Thompson, Georgia. Today on Smoked Meat, my guest is, I've got Miss Sadie Katz today. And I tell you, I love talking to Sadie. She is such a great young lady. I mean to tell you, she just knows how to entertain. You know, you've seen her in great horror movies such as Wrong Turn 6, Clown Fear, most recently Amityville Harvest. So we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff. She's got a new podcast she's working on, so keep an eye and ear out for that. Let's get it kicked off here on Smoked Meat. So how are you today, Sadie?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming back on. I have been looking forward to this. We get to celebrate Halloween together.
I know, right?
Yes, indeedy. One of my favorite horror people in the whole wide world. And I'm getting to do another show.
I'm loving it.
Yep.
I'm loving it.
Yep, you got
Yeah, it's funny. Halloween is like, I feel like in some ways people are looking forward more to Halloween this year, even though a lot of people aren't going to be going out, but they just want something that's kind of frivolous and fun, and it'll be interesting, everyone's stories of Halloween from this year.
You ain't kidding. It's funny, my oldest daughter turned 20 this month, actually a week ago, and she's big into Harry Potter right now, and they wanted to dress up for Halloween to give out candy if the kids came, and she ordered a wand off of Amazon for Draco Malfoy, whoever that is. I've only watched like one of the Harry Potters years ago. And when it came, it's just this long piece of plastic that looks nothing. It's hilarious.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. It was so funny. She's like, that's not a lot.
Did she think it was funny, or was she really disappointed?
A little of both. A little bit of both. We're looking for another one, though.
Well, I mean, don't you remember back, now I'm going to show my age a little bit, but back in the day before the internet, you would order something from like the back of, well, girls would, from the back of Bop magazine, be really excited about it, and then it would come and it would be like you would learn not to trust mail ordering, which is, be cheap, which is why sometimes I have a really hard time ordering off of Amazon. All my neighbors are obviously constantly ordering off Amazon. And sometimes I just kind of go like, I don't want to be disappointed, and the reviews aren't legit, but your poor girl.
Yep, it was so funny. I shouldn't laugh at her, but it was hilarious because it is literally a long brown piece of plastic. It is so funny.
You know, in Harry Potter world and here's Universal Studios, they charge like I don't know. It's kind of insane. I think it's like $70 for a wand, and it's a whole wand shop. And
Yeah.
they're made, they're pretty cool. But I'm just like, well, what do you do? I get it's good if you have a costume, but I'm like, what do you do after it? Like,
Yeah.
like what is this? This is gonna sit, I guess, on your shelf or something. I don't know. Like, it's
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Yeah. She kind of giggled
Yeah.
and kind of didn't when I looked at her and told her, I said, oh, well, the wand chooses the wizard. Yeah. Yep. It's fun
That's
having a
great.
daddy who's a butthole, I tell you.
I know, right? Well, aren't that's like the dad's jobs, I think.
I got
They
skills.
they say dad, yeah, they say dad jokes and you
Yep.
know.
I heard a
They,
good dad joke the other day.
all right, go for
What
it.
did the policeman say to his belly button?
Oh, are you an innie or an outie? Let's see. I don't know.
You're under a vest.
Oh my God. That is peak dad joke. I give
Oh
you
yeah.
100 points for that.
Oh yeah. I
That is
love that
pretty
one.
funny.
I love that one.
I want to write it down. That's hilarious. Yeah.
But yeah, it's fun seeing my kids get into it. They've started decorating, the main floor of the house for Halloween for kids coming over because we're getting more kids in the neighborhood and hopefully they'll trick or treat this year. And
Right.
they're getting excited, so I'm happy about that finally.
How old is your daughter?
One just turned 20 and I've got one that is 17.
Oh my gosh. I
Yep.
love it. Yeah,
Yep.
I hope you guys get trick or treaters too.
And the suck part is I've got to work Halloween, which we're going to be short staffed. It's Halloween. It's the first of the month, so it's government payday. What else? Oh, a full blue moon. So,
Oh
yeah,
wow.
that night's going to suck. And it's just a Saturday period.
Well, yeah. I'm actually going to the haunted hayride this evening.
Ooh.
Um, with it's normally they have like a regular haunted hayride, but because of COVID, it's like you drive through this thing that's like a
Hmm.
wall of pumpkins and I don't know what else, and then you there's a show that you're gonna watch from your car,
Oh, okay.
like a stage show. So
Well, that ought to be pretty
that's
cool.
yeah, I'm kind of excited about it. We'll see how it goes, but it seems like it'll be a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Anything you get to do for Halloween's fun.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go find a haunted house because we've got some that have opened up here because, I mean, they let small groups in anyway.
Right.
So,
Oh, that's a good idea. You know what's so funny is I can't actually go in a haunted house. I freak out. Like it's ridiculous how much I freak out. And like even ones that are ridiculous, I don't know if it's like when you just horror movies,
hmm
you kind of teach yourself to like amp up to a particular moment.
hmm
So right when I go in, I think it's almost like a sense memory thing of like, okay, you're supposed to be speeding up your heartbeat. You're supposed to be really scared. And I never was good at them because I am a chicken. But now I'm just like, no, I start crying and I'm like, I really feel like I'm having a panic.
oh,
It's really ridiculous because I'm like, I know that these guys are just actors in suits and they're not even like great actors, but
hmm
I do think like my big thing is I'm like, there's going to be a real killer here and they're going to be killing me and everyone will think it's part of the show. Like, that's like a huge fear of mine.
yeah.
Like, even when I'm shooting sometimes, because it's very odd to shoot something and there's like all these people, the crew, and they're tired and they're standing around. So they're just watching you and you're like literally standing there screaming and crying and begging for help. And everyone's just staring at you while you're filming. And I'm like, there's something that sometimes I get pretty creeped out from it. I'm like, this is so weird. And then they'll be like, cut, let's go to lunch. And I'm just kind of like lying there and, finally someone will help me up and they'll go, oh, sorry. And then then I'm like, okay, I'm just doing this walk like it's totally normal. It's fine. That's what my job is. It's pretty funny.
I tell you, I used to work at a haunted house we had in Augusta called Plantation Blood.
Oh
And
boy.
I did several different characters there, but my favorite one that I did, it wasn't a long time after the strokes that I had.
Oh
And
geez, yeah.
they spent about 2 hours in a makeup chair with me and made me look about 80 or 90 years old. I mean, I looked old. And
Yeah.
I had on just a pair of like plaid sleep pants and a t-shirt and this old raggedy robe and some house shoes. And I just walked around. I mean, I could go anywhere I wanted to in the haunt, outside the haunt, anywhere. And the only words I would say, I would just look at people, get right up near them and say, "Have you seen my daughter?" That's
Oh my
it.
God.
And I knew all the little, like the hides and the little back entrances and stuff to different rooms in the haunt. And I would just like, all of a sudden be in somebody's group that they saw me outside and, "Have you seen my daughter?" And I would just disappear. And
That's
it freaked
scary.
people. It was funny because security didn't know who I was, didn't know I was part of it. They actually called the cops out there to come check on me.
No
And
way.
I
Oh my
stayed
God.
in character till the cops
You're-
got there. It was awesome. It was so much
get
fun.
out of here.
Yep.
Oh, I love that. That's a great
They
story.
thought I was just some confused old man, but it was so great. I loved it. I had a ball with that one.
Were the cops mad when they got there?
No, they thought it was hilarious. They thought it was so funny.
Where do you live?
I'm
where
just south of Atlanta right now, but I was in Augusta.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, well, there was a thing of beauty. They're actually open again this year. I didn't get to go this year to them, but maybe next year.
I know, right? But I think we'll appreciate a lot of things in such a crazy way when this is done.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know,
Oh yeah.
LA is a little bit. They're really crazy in
Yeah.
certain areas over it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
They haven't hugged their family in like a year.
Mm.
Like, can't you hold your breath and hug your grandma once? Just
Oh.
once. Might be good for her.
Oh, my wife runs a nursing home, and
Right.
they still can't have visitors there. They do window visits now,
Well,
but
I guess
for a
the
long time
window-
they couldn't
but
do anything.
how
And that was
old? I
rough.
mean, I think I have such, not like my opinion matters because it's just mine, but I'm always like, a lot of healing and things is touch and,
Yeah.
it's like it's too bad that they couldn't, open up a hotel next door, have families COVID tested, and then, let them go in and see
Yeah.
their family for a few minutes. I can't imagine.
Yeah, it's
Good for your wife. So does your wife have to be quarantined all the time, or is
No, they're tested very, very regularly.
Right.
About once a week actually.
right? Does she have to do the nose test?
They did that for a long time. I think there's another one now that they've got. I can't think how they do it, but it's it's actually a little bit more accurate than the nose thing, and it's quicker.
Oh wow!
But
Yeah.
her team has done really, really, really well. I think they had 2 cases through this whole thing so far because they have
Yeah.
just been on top of everything
Oh.
so hard.
And yeah, I mean, I think now my girlfriend works at elderly home, and they haven't had any cases, but they haven't let them have any visitors.
Mm-hmm.
The nurses are quarantined. She was staying there in the beginning because the nurses needed help, so they let them have one family member. But now they took that away, and so. And her grandma is so old and doesn't really communicate, very well. So she now has no one with her.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, oh my God.
yeah, it's a sad thing.
Yeah, it really is.
Yep.
Oh, but I think that's why it's funny. Horror movies are having like a huge, just. It seems like people are watching horror movies more than ever. It's not like a
Oh yeah, I got
particular group.
I got up Friday when I came home and went to bed, and my wife and kids went out of town because I wasn't able to get off, but my wife's been aching to go up to the mountains. So I said, go. You can get the day out. Go. Get out. So I was here alone. For 2 days, I watched horror movies and spoke to horror people. I had Dag Farrakhan, the kid who played young Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween.
Oh, great.
And I watched it before I talked to him, and he is now my favorite Michael because that kid, he did such an amazing job. But for those 2 days I did that, and right before I was going to interview somebody about 10:30 that night, the lights went out. So I'm in the house alone in my basement. All of a sudden, everything goes black. I'm like, well, shit, okay. This ain't good.
Isn't it funny that I took my son to see The Shining, and I'm like, okay, I know the movie. It will be fine. Like, I'm a huge Jack Nicholson fan. I've seen the movie lots of times. I'm watching the movie, and I forgot how visual the movie is, like with the blood spilling and the old lady, the beautiful woman turning into the old lady. And I was like, genuinely, I couldn't go home and sleep. Like, my son went back to his house, and I was like so scared. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the blood by the elevator. And
oh, you got to love it. I love those old movies. I want to see Dr. Sleep. I haven't gotten to see it yet.
Oh, you know what? Neither have I. Yeah. I'd like to check that out for sure.
But yeah, I've heard it's pretty good. And I tell you, after this year, I don't know if a horror movie can match what's going on this year.
No, it can't.
But I know one that can.
And it's every day.
I know one that can probably.
What?
It's coming out this month. Is Amityville Harvest.
Oh, I love you. What a great transition.
I got skills.
It will make COVID look like a child in the swimming pool. I don't know. It actually, you know what's so fun is a lot of times when I film movies that are horror movies, like I'm normally, the antagonist. Mm-hmm. I've played a lot of killers and bad girls and, these sexed up super things. This part is like a complete opposite for me. And I'm now the one being chased. But even I had some other films that I've, been scared and stuff, but I was never legitly scared. Mm-hmm. I was acting scared, but like, it was very easy. With this one, there was a few things that I was like, oh my God, I'm actually scared right now. It was scary. It's like a legit old horror movie. Like, people get all this, kind of highbrow movies where, like a Midsummer, which is a fabulous, fabulous movie. But then you forget the fun of those like jump movies where everything's like a practical effect instead of a CGI, and you're laughing after you jump. That there's something really fun in that.
Yeah, I love those. I get a lot of my friends who say, oh, that's nothing but jump scares. Anybody can do that. Well, really, why don't you watch it with me then?
Yeah, right.
Come on.
Well, and it's like sometimes you see movies that will attempt to have something jump out, but it just doesn't affect you. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like the cat came out of the window, but it's the way. I mean, Churchill and Mitch, the DP, are just great at creating that anticipation, kind of Hitchcockian, and then it just being legitly scary. Yeah. We have one character in it that I didn't have to run from, but he's like, I don't know, like some mentally deranged chef or something, and he's like chasing the girl with a cleaver. And every time I even think about it, I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. Bless you.
Thank you. Oh man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this coming out. I'm ready to see it. I'm ready to see some good stuff. And I love any kind of Halloween movie. I made my kids mad the other day while they were all up in the mountains. I looked on Disney Plus, and they had Halloween Town and all of the Halloween Town movies and Hocus Pocus. And I told them, I'm watching these. And they were so mad.
Oh, they sound sweet.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
I know you've done so much, and I'm sure you get asked this one all the time. But if you look deep, dark down into Sadie Katz's resume and all your memories, what was your favorite one you ever did? Favorite character you ever played?
Well, you know, obviously, like my biggest film would be Long Term Six, and that character was Sally was really just amazing fun to play.
Mm-hmm.
Like just absolutely, because she was, kind of in heat, trying
Mm-hmm.
to further the family line. She wasn't like evil and like a, well, I didn't want her to be evil, but she's also always kind of sexed up.
Mm-hmm.
And, but also like a shakiness and anxiety about it being important and not wanting to let down our family. But I have to say, I also like there's, Christina Weingartner from Amityville Harvest was fun because that was actually kind of more challenging on another way because I hadn't played a character like that
Mm-hmm.
for a while. That was just like, hi, I'm a normal person. I have normal needs, and gets herself into a bad situation,
Mm-hmm.
and that to me was like a very cool thing. And I actually just did a Fargo Christmas. I don't know if it's coming out this Christmas, but if not this Christmas, next. I
Yeah.
hope it comes out.
I
But I
know.
got to play a waitress from Fargo,
Nice.
and it's a comedy, and I had so much fun. I stayed in character for like a couple weeks, and it was snowing, and I had a lot. I was like, wow, I want to do. But I like. Here's the thing. This is the longest, worst answer. Is I actually am in love with all the characters I've played.
Mm-hmm.
Like I love them like they're little books I wrote or children I
They're
created.
all little pieces of you.
Yeah, and I like they're also for me. They're milestones of like, sometimes it was a disaster and the shoot didn't go exactly the way it ought to, but that's what happens in entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
There's sometimes someone you work with, you know, isn't very good at their job, but then you meet some of the other actors and you kind of pick up a few people from every project that you get closer and closer to.
Mm-hmm.
So I always think of like, a very good friend of mine, Vidana, was in Best Party to Hell with me, and we're still really good friends, and she's a big part of my life. So it's like funny because I think of that film, but I also think about like, oh, that was the time I had fun playing with my girlfriend,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I have just, even the worst things later on, you look back with a lot of like, I love that film, or I love that character so much.
Yeah.
And I love to kind of, when you start filming, you start kind of creating the character more and more because you get into it more and more. So
Mm-hmm.
it's fun.
Yeah, and you watched my videos before, and I understand exactly what you're saying on that part because, the first Murray video was totally different than the last one because Murray
Yeah.
developed. Oh,
Yeah.
it's getting time to film another one.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. But you know what? And it's funny you talk about each thing you take. You pick up people, and that's what I do on this show. It's kind of strange because everybody I've interviewed, I tell everybody I don't do interviews. I make friends with a bunch of people listening, and that's the way I feel, and it's really cool.
Right.
So I know exactly what you're saying there.
Yeah, it is fun. I mean, very good friends of mine, Ron and Jimmy, live in Palm Springs, and I had been on their show. I've been on their show a bunch of times, like
Yeah.
4 times, and we kept sort of clicking, and now they're like some of my best friends. They just came in from Palm Springs to come to my birthday
Yeah.
the other night. So it's really kind of lovely.
Yeah. Ron refers to you as his daughter.
I know.
And
I
that's
love
that's
him.
awesome. Ron is so cool.
And I mean, we're really like that in
Yeah.
real life. I like, what did he say? I had posted a picture of me having really short hair. And he was like, oh God, that's the worst haircut for you. It doesn't look good. And like, you only can be very close to someone who's like, don't do that. He gives my fiance a bunch of like a super hard time about not getting married because we've been engaged. And Miles loves him. And he's like, Jesus, will he ever stop about that? I don't know. I really don't think so. Yeah.
Yeah. He never will. He never. I love them both so much, and Eileen, all three of them are just man. They have done so much for me, and just there's nothing I wouldn't do for any of them.
I know they literally are just really, really great humans, and they're fun to be around. And I mean, they're just really special, and they're always smiling.
Yeah.
You know. Even if Ron tries to be grumpy, he doesn't know how. You know, they're just really. I just have nothing but warm feelings towards them. Like I just love them so much.
That's me.
Yeah.
Well, I tell you, I watched one of your movies not too long ago. That I heard about it. And I got to watch this thing. The Bill Murray Experience. You did so freaking great on that movie.
Oh, thank you.
You put yourself into that hard.
I know. Like a lot of people got mad at me for being like that, but yeah, I kind of loved it.
Yep, that was great. Yeah. Now I know in the movie I won't spoil it, but since the movie, have you had one?
I haven't. I haven't, and I know. And here's what my biggest beef about it is whenever I meet someone and they know about the Bill Murray Experience, they're always like, oh yeah, I have one. And I'm like, what? And I'm always so pissed, like inside I'm like a little bit like, oh well, good for you. It drives me a little bit crazy. I don't like things to feel unfinished, but in some ways I'm like, okay, that was the end of my film, and I had a lot of wonderful things happen from that film, just as far as film festivals and picking up friends that way, and just having like that was such a huge personal achievement because it was my first doc, and I'm actually going to be doing another documentary.
Oh man.
But it will be about other people, and I mean, it won't be my story per se. It's called The First Lie, and just for fun, I'm interviewing you now. What's the first lie your parents told you?
Oh man, that's a good question. I'm sure they did because I lie to my kids sometimes.
Yeah, what's the first lie you told your kids?
What's the first lie I told my kids?
It's probably the same one.
No, I'm going to hell for this one. It's not the same one. I'm going straight to hell for this lie.
Oh, no.
Both of my kids, up till they were in their teens, would have sat and called you a liar if you told them that Chuck E. Cheese was open any day of the year besides their birthday.
Oh, my God.
If you showed them people going inside and out inside of the place on any other day, they would tell you they're going in there to clean.
Oh, my God. That's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm going to hell for it. I ain't even going to deny that.
My documentary is about parents lying to their kids about Santa Claus.
You see, I think that's my parents' first one. And yeah, I lied to my kids about him too.
Right. I just find it very fascinating. Like some people that didn't like affect their life at all. Mm-hmm. But other people will be like, yeah, that was kind of a change in my childhood, or I was really mad at my parents. It's such a weird thing. It's such a weird thing to teach your kids. And I'm just so fascinated by the subject. And it seems even weirder, I think, now, like in the 80s, maybe that made sense because there wasn't a lot always happening because we didn't have the internet. Yeah. And now I'm like, it's kind of so bizarre. It's really bizarre.
Well, you know what? I used to help build computers for a guy when I did that part-time. And we built one for this man who was giving one to his 16-year-old daughter for Christmas. And when we would build one, on the background of it, we would have Thompson Computer Works and have a sticker on there and all. And when he came to pick it up, He told us, he said, get that off of there, get any trace of your name or anybody else's name off of it. Santa's bringing this to her. And we kind of looked at him and he said, I know. She's old enough to not know, but she still thoroughly believes, and we're not screwing that up. Like, yes, sir.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
That's the weird thing. My aunt was the same way with with myself and my cousins, especially my cousins. And I was like, you don't want your 16-year-old to not know for sure if Santa's there.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want that.
Yeah.
Even though I'm such a fan of magic, and I think that was like my fascination with Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's very sad sometimes when you're like, magic doesn't really exist for real. Like, never. I'm really into watching magicians. Like, I've gone to the Magic Castle here a bunch of times. I have friends who are magicians, and there's something like, I love that idea, but like Santa almost becomes this like godlike figure that you're like, oh,
yeah,
Santa, I thought he could hear when we're good and bad. He knows all these things and he knows what we want. And then you're like, well, that's a little bit like God, because now Santa doesn't exist. It's very odd.
yeah.
But I mean, everyone has it. My one friend who has kids, she's like, you're crazy. She goes, of course I'm going to tell my kids that. It's a tradition and it's fun. And,
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm interested to see if there's anything I can do to help with this thing. Let me know.
I will.
I
will. I got a camera for my birthday.
Oh,
so that
sweet.
was like a really big deal. Yeah, very nice Panasonic,
Nice.
camera. It's really nice. It's like, I think I have to learn about cameras.
Mm-hmm.
So, I really don't know. And that was one thing I wished the cinematography was better for the Bill Murray experience. But it's like a GH5 Panasonic.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a GH5. So I'm watching YouTube videos and like just realizing a lot of stuff that I didn't know with DPs, of like how they have their own, they have their own setup, and they have all these special things into the camera, which I just thought, they kind of decided where to put the camera, and then adjusted the blur factor, and now I'm like, oh, I'm so stupid, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Oh, there's a lot to it. I'm just a kind of point and shoot guy. I hope it's not blurry.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a whole like aperture.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm using that right, but I realized, like different camera guys put in different codes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that's why someone's camera work, I'm like, oh, I look so great in that film. Mm-hmm. And then another film, I'll be like, why is it so flat? I look terrible. I look huge. There's no shadows. Mm-hmm. And I just thought that was only lighting. I didn't understand that was like inside the camera, which is like really obvious to me and just really silly.
Yeah, I did I can't remember what video I did, but somebody said, man, that thing, you look big in this thing. I said, well, the camera adds 10 pounds. And they looked at me and said, how many cameras did you eat?
Like, oh my God, you get another, that's 100 points right there. You're hilarious.
Oh, that was just so awesome. I'm like, that's just jacked up, but 3 of them, thank you.
Do you make pancakes too?
Are
you the dad who gets up and makes pancakes?
I do make pancakes.
That's like a dad thing to do.
Oh, yeah.
If you tell dad jokes, you can make a mean freaking pancake.
Oh, you'd have been proud of me last week. I smoked a 25-pound brisket and made 20 pounds worth of beef jerky.
What?
Yes.
Mail me that beef jerky. I love beef jerky.
Oh, I do
That's
good
great.
jerky. And mine's simple.
Wait, you just do it for your family?
Yeah.
So they just constantly have beef jerky around?
Well, it's been a while since I'd made some. And
a
friend of mine, the guy that actually got me the brisket, he hauls meat for this company, and he can get it at cost for me. So he got me the brisket, and he said, here, I got some jerky meat too. It was the leanest beef I'd ever seen. I almost hated to cut it up for jerky, but I did.
Oh my
it
God.
turned out so good.
Oh my God. But now you're like, now I'm almost hungry. I loved it. Meat is my.
Oh, I am a carnivore.
Yeah, I'm definitely a carnivore. I was a pecto vegetarian, whatever that means, that I ate fish, but I didn't eat chicken or beef.
Yeah.
And when I when I was that for 7 years, and now I'm the opposite. I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
can you please give me as much meat on this plate as possible and nothing else?
Kind of like Ron Swanson on Parks and Rec. He went and ordered a turf and turf, a 22-ounce porterhouse and a 16-ounce ribeye.
Oh my
A
God.
turf
Yeah,
and turf. I was proud of that.
that's pretty funny.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But oh yeah. But I tell
Yeah.
you, there's a thing you would like. Do you cook much beef?
What is it?
Do you cook much beef at all?
Um, I don't as much. I'll make like meatloaf or tacos, but I don't always. For holidays, I do. I made. I think I actually made trying to remember what you just said, a brisket, because my fiance Miles is Jewish, and so that's one of the traditional dishes
Oh yeah.
for one of the holidays.
Yeah.
It's beef brisket.
Oh yeah, and it's a wonderful thing. But oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
next time you do any kind of steak or anything like that, you can go to spicebarn.com and order Worcestershire powder,
Yeah.
and you mix that with a little garlic powder and a little bit of salt, and put that on your steak and a little bit of black pepper. It's called trail dust when you make it like that,
Oh
and it
wow.
is so good.
Mm,
But oh yeah,
I love that. That's great.
oh yeah, it's a wonderful thing. But
But you have to have a smoker, right? You have to have like a dehydrator,
yeah,
correct?
yeah, I
Yeah.
use a dehydrator for my jerky, and for my brisket, I actually put it on the smoker.
Oh my
So
God. I
oh
love
yeah,
it.
oh yeah. And
Yeah.
I got a big grill that I use if I'm going to do a big cook. But yeah, but oh yeah,
Yeah.
y'all need to get something going down here filming in Atlanta. I want to come cater. I want to come hang out on set and aggravate y'all.
Oh, that would be so great. I don't really it's funny because I haven't shot in Georgia, and I know so many people that have.
Hmm.
So um I would be down. I would love that.
Yeah,
Be
because
pretty cool.
I'm almost in the center of, let me see, 20 miles north. I have Tyler Perry Studios. 12 miles to the
Mhm.
west, I have Pinewood Studios. And 10 miles to the south is where they film The Walking Dead.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah. I have a friend, Mark McAuliffe.
Hmm.
McAuliffe. I always say his name wrong, but he shoots all the time in Georgia. His career has completely um, exploded. It's pretty
Yeah.
amazing.
There is so much stuff that shoots here. It surprised me when I found out everything that does. I'm like, holy crap! But they give so many tax breaks. I mean, we've just got so much different terrain here that, I mean, hell, you ain't got to go real far to. You need mountains, okay, 2 hours north. You need beach, 2 hours south. You need woods this way. You need city this way, and it's just everything.
Yeah,
So I like it here. But I'm ready to come out
yeah.
to LA and check y'all out too. I'm ready for this stuff to be done where I can travel some because I want to meet
I
everybody.
know. Yeah, I'm going to be shooting something in Alabama in November,
Nice.
and I'm going to. It's called Alabama Rose,
Hmm.
and it's a horror, and it's actually a thriller. I should say it's a thriller, but yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to it.
Hmm.
But I'm also like, wow, driving's gonna flying's gonna be very odd.
Hmm.
So yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, if you fly into Atlanta and then just drive over there.
right.
Yep. Because if you fly into Atlanta, I'm 20 miles south of the airport too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh man, but yeah, we're gonna have fun when everybody finally gets to meet. Because like I said, I've met people on here from New York and from LA, and so many great people. I'm just aching to meet face to face. I spoke with some Swedish people the other night, and now I want to go to Sweden because that's where they
Wow.
were. And
Yeah, I've never been. I would like to do that.
yeah, I've never even flown before.
You've never
I
flown
have
before.
never flown before.
Oh my God. This is
Yeah.
the time to do it. It's cheap. And, if you're careful, it's actually a really safe time to fly because most of the time you get a cold or something anyway when you fly. Just because there's so many people in and it's packed air. But now people are actually, they're actually like being clean and not touching as many things, and they have a mask on.
Yeah.
So, and they're not, I think a lot of the planes are not as packed. I've seen some people post pictures with packed planes, but yeah, flying, it's a bummer you haven't flown because back in the day, like, 15 years ago, 20, before 9/11. So more than that, 20 years ago, you used to go and, they would give you food. I always loved airline food. And, you get your drinks and you're watching your movie and the food was a lot better. And, you got silverware and like a wine glass. So yeah, it's just, I've always loved to fly. I just love it.
The book Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil, they did a movie out of that.
Right.
The author, John Barrett, that's actually how he got to Savannah. Him and his friends would always go out at least once a month to a really nice restaurant to eat. And he got looking one day and saw where it was during the Fair Wars. And saw he could fly just about anywhere for about $75. He said, I could fly somewhere for the price of the meal and back home. And he started doing that, and he flew to Savannah, and then all that shit started with the murder and all, and he wound up staying down there.
Oh my gosh!
But yeah,
really?
that's how he wound up down there.
Yeah.
But yeah,
crazy.
Yep. Now Greyhound isn't even $69 anymore.
Oh, I know, nothing is. But lately, I've heard that some of the fares have really dropped.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I mean, well, we'll see. But I've heard that a lot of the tickets are really cheap right now.
Well, I'm ready to come out there and see y'all. That's for sure.
Well, yes. I hope that happens when you're feeling well and and everyone's good. And this is like such a crazy time. So it's yeah.
Yep, definitely. Oh man, well Sadie, I've had so much fun with you on here today, and anytime you want on here, all you can do is call me. You know that.
Oh, I would love that. Thank you so much, and it's nice catching up with you again.
Definitely. Tell everybody Happy Halloween.
I will. Have a good one.
I want you to tell my listeners, but tell them in a scared voice.
Oh, Happy Halloween.
Oh, that's awesome.
Was I supposed to be scared or scary?
Either one, but that was a good voice. Yes. Yes, indeed.
I think what's scarier is someone just laughing. And, I've been watching Animal Kingdom, and that bitch is scary.
Yeah.
But all right. Well, thank you for having me on.
Thank you.